Welcome back, guys. Here is the westbound descent into Silverthorne in the 7.3 Godzilla. Hopefully you've subscribed and been watching the initial setup to this test. We will be doing this exact run with the big red Chevy, which is a 2024 6.6 liter L8T gasser. This is the General's first trip up this hill. This is kind of one of the normal ways we'd go to one of our normal camping spots. We are towing 12,958 pounds. If you watch the other videos, you know the setup. We will be letting the transmission do all the work, and we will be using cruise control. I know it seems counterintuitive and a little bit scary, but you are the captain of your ship. But that's kind of how they have made these trucks to work. So usually when guys run the Ike Gauntlet, they just let the truck coast and want to see how it does. Me, on the other hand, I'm going to use the way they kind of built it and wanted it to work, which is using cruise control. So we can see over there, speed limit is 60. That is for your normal everyday vehicle, and 35 for vehicles over 26,000 pounds. So yes, that is you, Mr. Camper, Mr. RV, and a guy that actually reaches up to that 26,000 pound or more ratio. So you will need to be in the far right lane. Now, more than likely, we're going to encounter a lot of trucks, and we're going to have to be in and out of this lane and try and mitigate this because people drive nuts up here. And so we can see right there, the truck's already kind of slowing down. I have the cruise control set at 40, and once it hits 60, I'm going to back off and get down to 40. Now again, people will say, well, the truck, we can go 60 down. I'm not going 60 pulling any load down a hill, because heaven forbid something happens, I'm top heavy and stuff like that. If you tow like that, then God bless you and your family. Be careful. But I'm a professional trucker now by trade, so we're good. So now I'm going to get back over here and let people pass me, because that's what they want to do. Again, I have the cruise control set at 40, and I'm just going to let it see if what it'll do when it gets up to that 60 mark. So the way I do it, guys, in the semi, and kind of the rule of thumb is once you reach your speed limit and it starts to go about 5 over, you're going to use your brakes gently to slow yourself down to the speed limit again, and then you can let off the brakes. If you kind of mitigate it that way, your brakes will have enough time to cool as long as you have it in the correct gear. As you can see, the transmission is holding itself in third. So, you know, me limiting the gears itself ain't going to do any good. It's not that's not going to help anything. So it's not going to 8th, 9th, 10th. So that's a moot point. I know a lot of people say, well, I wouldn't tow without it being limited to 6th gear. Well, it's not going to get to 6th gear. So, and probably it's not going to get below 3rd gear at this point, just because we're in that speed. But, you know, I could just use my brakes and slow me down to that 40 if we wanted to. I'm going to set the cruise control and get it hooked in at 40, coming down the other side. So we'll see how that all works. But right now, I've had to touch the brakes twice. Here's another brake application, so 3. There's 4. Transmission's doing a fair job holding us around that 55 mark, which I'm okay with on these straightaways, but I'm going to slow down anyway before the curve. just because I'm top heavy with this, and I would do that just based on the road on this side is road conditions actually better than the eastbound side. It's complete trash. So when we come out that one, I'm going to keep that one probably right at 40 no matter what. So we're at like 5 brake applications. I mean, we're talking light brake applications. I mean, I'm not in these brakes. I'm never going to be in these brakes. You want to control that descent before you get too much speed. You know, that's why I wouldn't go down this hill at 60. That is the speed limit for us because I'm under that 26,000. Just not going to do it. So that's going to be your preference. But you know, the more speed you get, the more velocity, the more that weight back there goes from 12,000 whatever to 16,000, you know. So just keep that in mind. It's easier to stay ahead of it than not. But yeah, because the transmission's in third, there's not much more help that the transmission's going to give me, you know. So we're almost down here, and this is probably the steeper of the two sides, but I like the eastbound version of it more because it's curvy and steep, and then it's a descent all the way into Denver. From here you climb going west several more times, Vail Pass, and going through Glenwood Canyon. I mean, but you know, once you get, there are flat spots up here for miles where it gets up to 75 again, and you know that's where neither a gas or a diesel, they're just going to be what they are. But if you watch the ascent, that's going to be pretty cool. And then, like I said, we're going to turn around and just go right back up. I mean, we're going to check brake temps at the bottom here, and we're going to turn around and head right back up the hill. Now, a lot of people want to know why I picked the Chevy over, say, a Ram. Well, last year on the same run going eastbound towards Denver, at my work, sometimes we rent, you know, trucks over the summer because we don't have enough trucks for all of our events. And so there will be times where I'll be in a pickup versus a semi. And last year we had 2 Rams actually die. One, actually, I blocked Eisenhower, the Ike Gauntlet. I blocked it towing like a 7,000 pound generator, and it was a 6.4 Hemi 3/4 ton tradesman, only 40,000 miles on it, and it fragged that motor. And you know, the other one just died too, and I'm just not confident putting the money in that. So I think right now the 2 big guys, because Chevy brought a new motor out, they brought that transmission in 24, it made sense to go that direction versus the Ram that's been around. Nothing's really changed with that. They haven't bumped the power, got a new motor, or changed the transmission in any. So based on personal experience, I decided that wasn't going to be for me. So yeah, so we had 5 brake applications. No time do we lose control. The rest of the time the transmission's been doing its work. It stayed in 3rd gear. 5 brake applications is more than fair based on the amount of weight we're having pushed us down the hill. Yeah, that was, you know, they make it sound like, oh my gosh, this had way more than diesel. Of course it did. It had a few more than a diesel. I think the diesel had 2. This had 5. Who cares? Yeah, honestly, who cares? And had you came out of the tunnel and set it at 35, our speed limit's 60. So I mean, you could probably do what you wanted to. So guys, we will see you on the Ike Gauntlet eastbound climb.